What's going on, everybody? It's our Mike, and it has been over 2 months since I unboxed the Wear24 and put this on my wrist. Let's get into my final thoughts of what I think of this watch so far. So the very first thing I do want to mention about the Wear24 is on its original charging cradle, you do see that you have a blinking white LED light for when it is charging. When the device is fully charged, it will be solid white, and you will know when you're charging due to your percentage icon and it's saying charging. Now, if you're not using the proper cable and wall block or power adapter for it, it will say discharging. Just go over a quick recap of what the Wear24 has in it, spec-wise. We're looking at a 450 milliamp hour battery. It is 40 more milliamp hours than the LG Urbane. You're looking at a 1.39 inch 400 by 400 AMOLED display with a pixel density of 290, 4 gigabytes of storage, 768 megs of RAM, Bluetooth, GPS, LTE, Verizon LTE only, no 3G bands, Cat3, NFC, and Wi-Fi. It is running the Snapdragon Qualcomm Wear 2100 chip, which is possibly a rebranded 400 processor, Snapdragon 400, but I myself have not looked into it too much. There are conflicting sayings from other people that it is kind of the Wear 2100 chip isn't a full new chip, but it actually does work really well on this. We'll get more into that. Also, you do have your IPX water resistance of IPX67, and something to note, for now, the silicone band is smoother and does feel more flexible than the LG Urbane 2nd edition. And due to the antennas in this, that is one of the downsides. You can't remove this band, and it requires a special tool if you do try to take this off, which I have not tried and I do not want to try. And the original, it is a better band than the original LG G watch as well. I like how flexible it is. It has held up pretty well. I, at first, was very skeptical of what I'd think of it. And for the antenna placement inside is only towards the top. The rest of the band is very flexible versus the Urbane 2nd edition. That is quite a stiff band. One of my complaints to this watch is that this buckle does feel quite cheap. Doesn't have a cold metal feel to it, and it is quite loose, which, I mean, is okay for when you're putting this off and taking it on and off all the time. Makes it easier, but the feel of it, it's not cold. It doesn't feel like metal. So, I will say when you boot this up, though, and you start running through applications, and you are, or even just looking at the notifications, as you can see, running Android Wear 2.0, the processor, being the Snapdragon 2100, is night and day compared to my Asus ZenWatch, or if I had my Urbane still, my LG Urbane. When I would first try to swipe up a notification on the Urbane running Android Wear 2.0, it lagged for a good second, chugging along, trying to get everything up and going. The Urbane, or the Wear24, and any other newer Android Wear watch that has a 2100 processor in it performs much better running Android Wear 2.0. To myself, there is a very visible color difference in the AMOLED panel on this versus the POLED panel that you would find in the LG watches. And that is one reason why a lot of people do like the LG Android Wear watches, is because of the display and how the color saturation is and how well it looks. If we go to, for example, we will go into settings and we will go to look at, not developer updates, but we'll go to look at the system and go into about. And normally when you look at, say, your system updates, it should be kind of a light green. Yeah, if you can tell, this is actually kind of a dark green. So the coloring on this panel is not as crisp or bright as what you would see on other Android Wear watches. You can see that white text does come out looking quite good. Your other colors do show pretty good. I mean, they're off just a little bit, but that's what you get when you are using this AMOLED panel that's in this versus looking at an LG panel. So, on to the next thing, which would be the bezels on this watch. I like that they are very minimal going around the whole watch. That has been nice, but the downside to it is these bezels are not raised. They are actually lower. You can actually see that the lip of this screen actually protrudes from the bezels, the metal bezels going around. So for that, if you're somebody that does smack your watch into things quite a bit, this is something you might not want to go after. You might want to look into a different Android Wear watch. I myself have actually nicked my glass, as you can see, right on the corner here. For the most part, over 2 months of daily wear, this watch has held up quite well. It has stayed nice and shiny, does fit the wrist quite nicely. And you can see the finish on this is doing pretty spectacular, actually. It's just when you take it and you get nicks on the screen, that's going to be kind of a downside to it. So if you are somebody that's worried about smacking the glass on this, if you decide to pick this up, I definitely recommend going with like a screen protector. One thing I have been asked in other comments in the video about this watch, does the crown rotate? Is that functional? No, it's not. It's just a push button crown for pulling and waking the watch. You can use it for opening up your app drawer, which you can see works perfectly every time. No issues, no lag. And then you can also use it for going back to your home screen. So let's say exit out of this application. So if we're inside an application and we want to go home, hit your button once, goes back, hit it again, takes us back to the home screen, hit it a third time, takes us to the app drawer. One thing this Verizon branded watch is missing is a heart rate sensor, which you will see with other watches that have partnered with other carriers. They generally do not come equipped with a heart rate sensor. But having these built-in speakers that you can see here on the bottom, even though they face your wrists, have done quite well for listening to music, podcasts, and taking a few phone calls in a quiet area. So now let's touch on the battery life of this watch. Being that it is an LTE equipped watch with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, it actually has done quite well. My battery life, has generally been, I can pull this watch off the charger at 4:30 in the morning, and it doesn't die out on me until probably 9, maybe 10 o'clock at night. That's even with it going into battery saving mode. The only time that this watch really is on LTE alone is if I tell it to be at a certain location, which is an option you have. You can tell it to turn on LTE. Say you're at work and you leave your phone in your office, or you leave it in your car and you want just the watch to accept your phone calls. Works great there. It will suck down some juice though. Mainly if you keep it on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, you'll be able to go probably till, like I said, 9, 10 o'clock at night if you pull it off at 4:30 in the morning. So your mileage will vary depending on your habits if you keep your phone on you all day. But it has gotten me through a full work day. As for, like I said, getting home at night and needing to recharge, you might need to top it off if you plan on going back out. So when it does come to taking phone calls with this watch, it does come in through HD voice over LTE. And my wife said she could hear me crystal clear on her end. And that was even with my hands out in front of me, working in the morning or even driving. But if you have your arms swinging to the sides and you're trying to talk to somebody on the phone, don't expect them to hear you that well. And make sure you only take calls in probably a quiet area, such as your own office or in your car, just sitting. The watch will pick up background noise. One of my big gripes to this watch, if we scroll through the app drawer, one thing you're not going to see on here, Android Pay. Still not available on the Verizon Wear24. We can even go in and try to search for Android Pay under the Play Store. You search for Android Pay, you're not going to find it in here. Even though there is NFC built into the watch, they obviously are not, Verizon themselves is obviously not allowing you to use this for payment through Android Pay. My other biggest gripe about this watch, as we can look at here and see, we're still on the March 5th of 2017 security patch. Versus I can look at my original Asus Zen watch, and that is actually updating right now. It's been doing that in the background. Another thing to keep in mind, when buying a connected smartwatch that runs over an LTE signal, it will cost you to have it on your plan and bridge your phone number. So for Verizon usage, I believe it is $5 a month at the moment as of recording. So I was going to show you what security patch my Asus ZenWatch is running, but it's gone through 4 updates and probably a few more to come. So I'll just save that for another time. Or actually what I'll do is I'll add it into the bottom of this frame right here once this is fully updated when I edit the video. But when it comes to an Android Wear watch, if you want one that's connected, you don't care about whether NFC will work for Android Pay, you're not worried about updates, but you want something running a Snapdragon 2100 and Android Wear 2.0, you might want to look at the Wear24. But if you're more into getting your software updates and staying up on a watch that will allow you to talk to people via text message on all text message apps and not have any applications blocked, go with an Android Wear watch that you can get directly from Google Play, from the Google Store, or through their websites themselves. That's it for this video. I know it's been a long one. Please hit that like button, comment, subscribe. I hope you all have a great night, and I will see you in the next video.